All right, folks, welcome to. We're calling it 11 count. It looked better than 4
Yeah,
count.
11 count.
Yeah. So we were going to talk about, I think, either the Montreal screw job or guys we thought could have been guys.
Uh-huh.
Um, but I think I want to talk about the merger. How much do you know about it?
Uh, I mean, we knew that WWE was going on sale. Didn't know
Mhm.
to who. I mean, there was talks of the Saudi group buying them. Um, and
Peacock, NBC, Disney were also on the market apparently at one point.
yeah, all these people in the market to buy them. Don't really so Endeavor, I know a little bit because they bought the UFC. I know it's like
Mhm.
a investment group with like a bunch of people involved in it. Like I think Gronkowski's involved in it.
That wouldn't
Like,
surprise me.
I know there's like a bunch of celebrities involved in it. Um, but I mean that's the most I know about Endeavor. Well, now TKO.
Yeah. So they have the UFC and now they bought WWE. But I want to also talk about how we got here. This is going to be an episode about the merger, but I
Mm.
also really want to talk about Vince because oh
What you mean?
man,
Why he sold it?
yeah, like the fact that he'd rather sell it than not being than he'd rather sell it and be in control rather than like hand it off to the next generation.
I
Like I
mean,
thought that was ruthless as fuck.
I
Like
I know him
he's
and Shane have like a ton of animosity towards each other, so that doesn't help.
but
I
but
don't know
like
how he is with Steph.
I think, and again, there's no dirt sheet to confirm this. I think he took it personal when she actually agreed with the board that he had to go for a while after that scandal happened.
Well, I mean, I don't think he had to go. I think he had to go because I just think he's out of touch. But
Mm.
I mean, what's a little money for some puss puss?
God damn it, Fernie. You look, are you wrong? No, I'm not going to completely disagree with you there. But
I'm
like,
sorry
okay,
I can't create my own company to pay off the whores.
now when it's publicly traded, if it was privately owned, because remember that's how Vince became filthy rich. It wasn't just from WWE. It was when he took it public. That's when he got rich. He used the stock market to get rich.
In the
That's
words of
fine.
Randy Marsh. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought this was America.
It is, and you're beholden to your fucking shareholders. It is America. So, you know what? Fuck it. Let's go further back. Let's talk about Vince Senior and Vince Junior, which I would pay someone good money to call him Vince Junior. I want to see Vince kick the fuck out of you at the age of 75.
I mean, he didn't like his father, right?
So he didn't really know his father until he became like a mid to late teenager. He had to deal with
Yeah,
his
I know
mom.
that. Like
Um,
him and his mom. Uh, I don't think they were ever together. I think it was just like a fling.
well, apparently, Vince he alluded to in a Playboy magazine article that he was abused when he was younger, and it's implied
Playboy
that it
magazine
was.
article, classy.
I know. Well, see, here's the thing. It was implied that it was incestuous.
Oh,
So do it you. So that kind of explains a lot of the incest angles that he proposed with Stephanie and Shane and himself. Um, but so that happens, and then
no,
he
I
finally
think he's
gets
just
to.
an attention whore. I think he just wants to do anything like that will get eyeballs on the fucking product, even if it's something ridiculous like that.
I think there's a limit, and I think he may have been through some shit when
That's
he was
why you're not
younger.
a billionaire because you think there's a limit.
You know what? I don't want to be a billionaire. If that's what it takes, don't want it. Don't need it. But so Vince grew up like fighting for everything he had, right? Like he had to
Yeah.
fucking claw and everything.
I
There's an
mean, he
important
stole the
distinction.
company from his father pretty much.
Well, no, so not entirely. So he didn't tell his dad that he was going to expand. He bought it from his dad from his dad and a few other people for $1 million
Did his
dollars
dad
total.
say like, just don't, just don't get rid of the other territories? And he's like, shh, dad, you're
Yeah,
old. Go to sleep.
yeah, pretty much, man. As Vince McMahon Sr. was dying, the territories crumbled at the hands of his son. Um, which is crazy to think about. But
Hey, remember when you didn't let me wrestle for your territory? Yeah, I took that personally.
well, dude, but that's an important distinction. Vince bought his company. He wasn't given it. It wasn't given to him. He took it from his dad, and it's
Oh.
crazy because it almost seems like he looks down at his kids because they didn't do the same. Almost like there was no hostile
I
takeover. There
think
was
I
no.
think he would respect his kids more if they did fucking stab him in the back to take the company.
That's what I mean, though, dude. Like he would have respected them more if they had stabbed him in the back, but instead of doing
Come
that, they
on,
were like,
goddammit, kill me.
"Yeah," which is fucking nuts. Like that's the perfect company to be like hand it off to your kids. Like, hey, I built this fucking kingdom. I'm ready to go. Here you pass. He didn't even have to give it to Shane. He had fucking Triple H there to run creative.
Yeah, that is true.
But instead, so there's this weird animosity. Shane doesn't go for WrestleMania for a couple times. Like there's like this big rift in the family. Shane comes back at around 32. Seems like all is right with the world. The whole family's good. Apparently, there was some backstage feuding between Shane, Triple H, and Steph. Oh wait, let me go back to 24. This is what caused the rift.
Uh,
Linda wanted to run for Congress.
oh
So she
yeah,
had to step down. So there was, I think, it was either CFO or COO position opened up, which was like a position that you would take before you're about to become CEO, right? Like it's the
yeah.
step right below Vince's.
The
So
chief financial officer.
yes, yeah. And everyone looks at Shane like this is his moment to ascend. Like, hey, you're gonna pick up the company from your dad. Like, this is the time to move up and like get to the next level. And Vince, instead of naming Shane, which it was implied that he was going to do, names himself COO or CFO, whatever the fuck it is. And Vince Shane kind of takes this personal, like, you son of a bitch. So he leaves. He leaves and goes to Japan, starts a successful like TV company in Japan or whatever, and there's a rift there.
Hmm.
And then from there we get the power struggle. Shane comes back. There's a mild power struggle between Shane, Stephanie, Triple H, and then we fast forward to Vince McMahon goes down, right? Like the scandal happens,
Hmm.
and the thing that took him down from that was the fact that apparently he used company money. He didn't just use his own money; he used company money to pay these women off.
I mean, what's the point of having petty cash if you can't use it? Am I right?
Use your own fucking cash, bro. Use your own cash. Like that. Literally, if he had just paid her out of his own pocket, fucking giving her a personal check, it would have been fine. Well, no, wait, there's another part of the problem. So one of the women, well, okay, there were multiple women. There were
There
multiple
always are.
divas there were multiple divas that alleged that he assaulted them or like was basically like quid pro quo, you give me a blowjob, I'll give you a run with the title. Like I'll give you a more prominent spot and renew your contract.
But I think
You
what's
gotta admit,
funny
that's
about that whole
illegal.
situation is that it's like people act like, oh, what? They're doing that? When it's always been like a trope in Hollywood. Like when the Hollywood thing broke, that fucking Harvey Weinstein was offering sex for roles and shit. That was always the running joke. Oh, she slept her way to the top. Like
Oh,
people are always shocked for some reason, but it's always like the butt of the joke, like behind the scenes.
anyway, so the scandal happens, it breaks out. Well, also bear in mind, man, there was like a female referee that alleged sexual assault against him way back in the 80s or in the 90s. This wasn't a new thing. It
Oh,
just
that one I
finally
never
like
heard of.
you never heard of that one?
No, that one no.
She was the first female referee. She alleges, and bear in mind, again, this was back then, this was not now, when she filed the lawsuit, that Vince got her to ride in a limousine and he basically promised her the world in exchange for sexual favors. She said no, and then she was promptly fired, like later on. And she alleges that she was fired because, I mean, he wanted me to get to fucking like sleep with him as a no.
Mhm.
So that's a thing. And again, this was back then. The charges had always existed. People just never really, brought it up until
Mhm.
Me Too movement finally catches Vince. There was also another diva. I don't know if it was this. No, wait. the lawyer that he allegedly slept with basically said he offered her a contract. If he would sleep with her, she got an even bigger contract for more money. Just sleep with me. Which, you don't think that's fucked up? Like that part.
Wait, what? Repeat it again?
There was a lawyer, a female lawyer, and she had a contract, let's just say for $100,000, right? Let's just pretend that that's what it is. Vince told her, hey, if you start sleeping with me, I'll up your contract to $250,000 a year.
How bad do you want that contract?
Jesus Christ, Fernie. This is why you cannot own a company.
I'm sorry. She could say no. Now, I'm not saying...
But you can say that her job would be in danger.
Let me explain. I'm not saying she can't say no. She can say no. But Vince should not be allowed to retaliate against her for saying no.
You and I both know. You and I are old enough to know that he can say, I'm not going to retaliate. And you and I both fucking know she's going to get fired a month later for filing something wrong. Come on.
That's what I'm saying is the wrong part. Offering it or asking is, to me, it's not the part. The fucking shocking part is when you retaliate, because that's where it's fucked up. Because now it's just like, okay, now you're saying that this was entirely about sex, and now you're punishing me because I wouldn't do it.
But isn't it also fair to say that people that may be desperate to pay off student loans, for example, would be desperate? I'm sorry,
do you know anyone offering? Because I'll do it.
I'm sure you fucking would. Vince is offering. Would you do it? $250,000 a year, Freddie.
Dude, it saves me 10 years of 120 consecutive payments. Let's do this.
God damn it, Freddie. Well, you have to last the whole year, and then you have to last the whole 12 months, and then you get the payout.
Now, in 12 months?
Yep, and then you get the $250,000.
That's 12 payments. All right.
Any fucking way. God, that went too far. Any fucking way. This woman, she felt
pressure. But it's a real offer, yes. Right? Because I'll do it.
Oh, God. Fuck. You know what? Tweet him. See what he says. But yeah, so that happens. She agrees, and then she wants out of the deal. She feels like he's going to retaliate. So charges are filed. Like, she alleges this. He tries to pay her off. It becomes public knowledge, and then it comes out that he paid up to $19 million, to like 12 different women for payoffs. And again, the problem does not come from, well, there's problems obviously with like him paying off his employees for sex. Another part of the problem comes in the part where shit actually got real, because fucking rich people only care about it when you fuck with their money. He defrauded the company by using some company funds to pay off that $19 million. Which is dude's a billionaire, but yeah, he uses the company to pay off some of those funds. Plus, it's also illegal if he was offering, a job to the people, which is again company money. Like, that's what's fucking him. That's what gets him out. Did you think he was gone for good? Because I did. I legitimately thought, like, holy shit, Vince is gone.
No, I didn't.
You never thought he was gone for good?
I was like, this is going to blow over and he's going to come back. Vince is not going to take something lying down.
Dude, I legitimately thought he was done. I was like, wow, so this is the knife that ends it. Okay, cool.
No, he's not going to take it lying down. He's going to fucking come back.
Well, like someone posted this, and I thought it was cool. Like from the Attitude Era, Triple H and Shawn Michaels are running WWE. Austin has his own brand of beer and lives on a ranch. The Rock is the most entertaining man in Hollywood, and Vince is gone in disgrace. The Attitude Era has now come to an end.
He's wrong.
That would have been a perfect ending, except Vince. So he essentially organizes a hostile takeover. There's a board of directors, and he still owns, I think, like 56% of the company. Like, he owns a majority. He goes to the board and says, hey, I want to come back. Do I have the votes? And they're like, no, we don't want you to come back.
Didn't he get rid of like a bunch of people on the board?
Yes, and he replaced them with people that would vote yes
You
to
don't
bring him
want me to
back.
come back?
Give me a minute here.
Talk to me real quick
Bah!
for a minute.
Come here. Bah, bah, bah. All right, now do y'all want me to come back? Yeah, good. And that's
I
when
imagine it was
Stephanie.
like the scene from Training Day,
Which
the
scene?
Denzel scene.
King Kong ain't got shit on me. That one.
Yeah.
No, you know what I imagine it was like? I imagine it was like the scene from The Godfather where people are getting murdered left and right.
Oh yeah, that's true. But yeah, I
Same
remember when
cat.
that was happening, like all the fucking people were like either resigning or some shit. They probably got paid off, like to
Oh,
leave.
fuck yeah, they got paid off. Even Steph, which, like, bear in mind, right before the Vince news hit, she had decided to take a leave of absence. She was like, dude, I'm tired. Like, I need some time away from myself. So she was going to step away for a long sabbatical, right? Vince goes down, and then they bring in Stephanie because what's a better cover than having a female CEO, right? We're progressive here, guys. We had an all women's pay per view. We're not monsters.
Jesus, Eddie,
Uh,
that's a little fucking non-woke of you for being a liberal.
no, but that's the
Don't you
cover
take it where
story.
you can get it?
No, typically yes, but dude, I know. Okay, I know too much about WWE to pretend like they hired Stephanie because she was a logical choice. Don't bullshit me, Vince. You didn't have, he never wanted to give it to either one of his kids. He wanted to die at the wheel. And they needed to
I don't
cover.
know. I think out of the two of them, I don't think Stephanie's the bright idea person, but I don't think she's inept.
No, definitely she's not. I'm not saying that she's inept. I'm saying it was very convenient that they went with her after Vince went down for
I mean, it's
alleged
not their
sexual
fault. He
assault.
has a daughter.
She had just stepped away. She was going to take a long sabbatical because she was done. Like she was tired of wrestling.
Yeah.
Hmm. But anyway, so Vince forces his way back in, and then he pinky swears, "I'm not gonna fuck with creative." What does he do? He fucks with creative. Guys, I
Which
swear I'm
pay
not
per view
gonna.
was that?
Huh?
Which pay per view was that he fucked with creative? Or was it a Raw?
No, it was gradual. It was a gradual. Like he would give Triple H notes, and Triple H would kind of be like, "Meh," and then he started inserting himself and butting himself in little by little. It was in May when he was like at a Raw or at a SmackDown, and people were like, "Oh, what the fuck?
I think it
This
was a
is back."
Raw.
It was for sure after WrestleMania, I think, because they wanted to avoid the bad press leading up to the biggest event of the year. Um, so Vince comes back, and the company, and he comes back under the guise that he's going to help sell the company, and that he'll. I pinky swear, I'll leave right after we sell the company.
Oh no, Julius.
And yeah, he sold the fucking company to TKO or Endeavor that created the new shell company TKO for UFC and WWE. And I don't know, man. There's just something fucked up about the fact that like he'd rather sell the company and still be there in charge of it rather than just pass it on.
I mean, I'm not surprised. Like, I'm really not.
But why?
Because, I mean, think about all he had to do to get that company. Unless someone pries it from his cold, dead fingers, he ain't giving it up.
I'm genuinely shocked he's not dead. Like I'm surprised he's for all the shit that he's been through. Have you gotten a kill yet?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, dude. Like, I mean, you said it yourself. He got this company, like, by force. He's not going to give it away just because, like, oh, it's my kid.
But no, but like you would assume, okay, I think most parents, like, okay, say that's you for a minute, right? Put yourself in his shoes for a minute. You
Uh-huh.
buy the company off your dad, you make it into this conglomerate. Your kids have been enshrined in it ever since they were born. They modeled for the
But
shirts.
Eddie, remember, he didn't have a healthy childhood.
But shouldn't you want that for your kids, though?
You can't understand his childhood. You didn't live it. So what's going on in his fucked up brain is probably something that you're like, wow, that's a fucking Picasso painting.
But isn't there some degree of
Eddie, you're using logic in an illogical situation.
But where's the parental instinct?
There is none.
Apparently,
He had
Vince.
no parental instinct because he had no parents.
Well, apparently, Vince. The one time Vince was ever going to stop a match with Shane was. Do you know about the story at King of the Ring?
Yeah, the Kurt Angle match.
Yeah. Apparently,
Because
they said Vince was going to walk out and stop it.
yeah, because Kurt kept trying to fucking put him through the glass, and they had changed the glass without telling them that it was plexiglass. And Kurt, I think, had already tried like twice,
Yeah. Well,
and
he did it.
he
He
even
did
told Shane, he's like, hey, like I don't think we should keep going. And
it.
he's
Shane
like,
cusses him
fucking put
out.
me through the glass.
Yeah, he
I
said
was
that.
listening to Kurt Angle's Joe Rogan podcast right now.
Yeah, apparently Shane cussed him out like fucking pull me through the glass, you little bitch. So that's why he just slams him head first, like, fine, here, done.
Yep.
But yeah, so okay, so going back, so now WWE for the first time in over 60 years is not owned by a McMahon. It is now owned by this public company by TKO. And now we're left to wonder what does the future hold? Because technically Vince, they could fire him tomorrow. Not saying that they will. I'm pretty sure he negotiated a pretty good handshake, or he's going to be around until he dies. Um,
I think he
but
also has already chosen his successor. I think it's going to end up being Triple H
for creative or to be the on the for the company
to be the head,
of creative or the company.
the company.
So another story came out where, and again, this is just the world of business. This is not wrestling. Traditionally, if someone's going to be the head of a company, you have to get on the board, right? And then you move up from there. You go from like,
Mm-hmm.
associate officer, chief officer, CFO, COO, CEO, all this shit, right? There's a ladder to grip. Triple H is not even on the board anymore. They removed him.
Then he might have made a decision of wanting to stay only on creative.
I I don't know if that was Triple H's decision or if that was Vince's call, though.
I
Because
mean, remember, Triple H has always been a wrestler at heart. Yes,
yeah,
he likes the behind the scenes shit, but I mean, I think like once you get a taste of like the behind the scenes shit, like not the wrestling stuff. I'm talking like boardroom shit. That's where
yeah,
you're just like, maybe that's not for me.
you might be right. As far as I'm aware right now, Nick Khan might be the successor. Actually, he could be. He negotiated that $1 billion deal. He's
You
done a
mean
lot.
Tony Khan's long lost brother?
Dude. Goddamn Nick Khan. But that ruthless son of a bitch, like forced his way. You know what he used to do before this?
Huh.
He would negotiate sports contracts. He was a sports agent.
Oh, that must be fun.
Yeah, no, but see, here's the thing. It cultivated like a ruthless like ideal of like either you're helping me or you're in my way. What are you? And so he would get rid of people. There was a big story where he helped get rid of at the time the two most senior officers on the board
Uh-huh.
after Vince.
Uh-huh.
Nick Khan got rid of both of them.
Hmm.
So the dude's ruthless.
That's probably why Vince likes him.
Maybe that's why he's like, you're more worthy than my kids.
I mean, Vince, I don't know, man. Uh,
He's a weird cat.
I think he also did see the writing on the door. That's why he ended up selling because he's just like, there. I'm not gonna be able to hold it together.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, he wasn't gonna be able to hold it together. He's already getting at that age where it's just like eventually he's gonna have to retire. Granted,
I
his mom was still playing tennis by in her 90s, so
I don't know, man. I think this is one of those situations where I really think Vince is gonna die at the wheel. I don't see him ever like willingly giving it up.
I mean, one can only hope that he gives it up.
Right. So sexual misconduct allegations. Oh, he ended up paying out $11.75 million in damages. So that's fun. God, I have no idea what it's going to take to put this old man down.
I'm pretty sure he has an expense fund for it.
For that's disheartening.
How much is in the hooker fund?
Jesus Christ, man. Let me see.
I'm sorry, escort.
No, I'm gonna look at one last thing. Vince McMahon net worth the year. Let's check out 1999. Let's just see, because right now he's worth at least $3.7 billion. At the time, he became a billionaire after 1999. Yeah, I was right. It was all because WWE went public. So, yeah, that's Vince. That's the takeover. Do you think this is good for WWE in the long run now that like it's not in Vince's hands anymore? Like as
I mean,
far as like
WWE is already the biggest thing in wrestling. There's no going higher than WWE. AEW will never be WWE, at least
give
in
it give
in
it 20
our
years, 20,
lifetime.
30 years.
30 years, you think they're gonna be WWE?
I think this, and even you got to give me credit on this one. They've done more in 4 years than TNA ever accomplished. And you could argue that was like mismanagement, but here's the thing.
It was mismanagement. There's no argument. It was
No,
mismanagement.
no, you're right. Here's the thing. Where was WWE in year 4? Weren't they still WWF at the time?
There was also a different time. This was the fucking 80s or 70s.
No, so how do you want to gauge it then? Like even then, like Forbes recently
Think
came out with an
about
article.
Think about this. WWE was built on decades of territories of innovation with TV to internet to cable boxes to fucking pay-per-view. WWE was built on that innovation. AEW has everything at its fingertips.
Mm-hmm. So, this
is the only time I've ever thought this expression made sense. WWE walked so AEW could run.
You're not wrong. They do have their motto. They are currently negotiating. I don't know if you saw that AEW is negotiating a deal with Max to put all AEW on Max. Like,
I mean, poor fucking Fiend, finally, because that's the only way you're gonna grow your audience and give people access to all the other fucking pay-per-views, the Dynamites.
So, and again, so in the argument of how close is AEW to WWE, I'll say this. They're only 4 years old. Currently, WWE is worth $8.15 billion, right? That's what the company is worth. The intellectual property, the video library, the wrestler contracts, the infrastructure, $1.85 billion, right?
Uh-huh.
That's after 60 years. Even if you want to argue, let's just say 20 years. Let's just put it from Attitude Era forward, right? In 4 years, AEW is currently worth $1 billion, as estimated by Forbes magazine.
Uh-huh.
In 4 years, they're worth that. Imagine what they'll do in another 10. I mean, I'm not, am I saying that they're going to run WWE out of business? Probably not.
No,
but,
God, no.
But I'd argue, like, look, listen to this. Net profit, $84 million the first year, over $100 million their second year. Like, they've been nothing but stacking. They've been growing like crazy. And they have the resources to do it.
They have daddy's money.
Hey, and Vince has Endeavor's money.
Okay, now he does.
Look, I'm not going to sit here and argue about Tony Khan, like, using his own father's money.
Being the biggest mark on the planet?
I'm pretty sure he already paid back the loan his dad gave him. I'm pretty sure he already paid it back. And
or so you think.
Also, like, correct me if I'm wrong, Fern. If you love wrestling as much as Tony Khan does, wouldn't you do the same thing to get loan out with your dad and open your wrestling promotion?
And I mean, sure. If you have the money, why not?
And overnight become the number 2 wrestling company on the planet?
My biggest problem with Tony Khan is just this, is that he does not know how to separate himself from the wrestling business.
That's fair. He's young. He's young and inexperienced. He's not battle hardened like Vince is. So that
Well, I
makes
mean,
sense.
even Vince started off as a commentator, and that was pretty much it. And no one knew that he owned the company.
That's true.
And then they
But
found out, and people were like, "He owns the fucking company."
yeah.
But that was the beauty about the internet. The beauty about no internet is that things were left to people's imagination. You were
But like
able to
the
continue shit behind the scenes because there was no internet. There was no one to fucking be like, he's not dead, dude. He's not really dead. He's a fucking actor. He doesn't really kill people or rise from the dead. It's fake. It's magic dust.
well, there was also that going into WrestleMania, I think what was it? 3? They were like Andre the Giant hasn't been beaten in 15 years.
And he has. He has
Yeah.
been beaten.
Or like, oh, no one's ever
He's
slammed
probably
him.
beaten in Poughkeepsie at one point.
Well, apparently, the whole thing of like, oh, no one's ever slammed Andre. No, Hogan
No,
slammed
he
him
was
about 4
slammed.
years ago.
Yeah. Like,
I,
that was the
fucking
beauty
Big John
about wrestling
Studd did
back
it.
then, is that you were able to hide all this shit.
You're not wrong, man. But yeah, so that was what the Endeavor talk, I guess.
But like the
That's what we're
Endeavor
talking about
stuff,
today.
like, what do I think is going to happen? I think there's going to be cross promotion because, believe it or not, UFC fighters, a lot of them envied or they watched wrestling growing up.
Yeah, no, that's true. I'd say that's true.
Like, it's not something that's insane. I mean, a lot of these guys watch wrestling growing up. So if they have the opportunity to be a part of it, like in some way, shape, or form, they're going to end up doing it. Is it going to work? Maybe. I mean, we saw
Logan
some
Paul.
positive shit happen when they were doing that shit with AEW. It's hard to take it seriously, especially if you're an MMA fan and you know that these dudes can legitimately fuck up a WWE wrestler.
Hmm.
So that's like the only part is that you have to disassociate yourself.
I mean, I just don't like the idea of an outsider stepping into a WWE ring. And I know that sounds stupid, but I always like the idea of cheering for the lifelong fan rather than the one that settled for being a wrestler because they're a failed NFL player. And I get it. Like Roman or not Roman, maybe less.
What about Kurt
Like
Angle? Kurt
no,
Angle
he
didn't always want to be a WWE wrestler.
no, but he wanted to be an Olympic wrestler. But I don't hold it against him as much. So
Why
maybe
not?
just
That's
I don't
hypocritical.
know. I don't know.
Brock
I hold
Lesnar
it
didn't want to
against
be a WWE wrestler.
and that I do hold against him. Is he great? Yes, he is. But part of me is like I don't like the fact that Brock shows up once in a blue moon, but like
But
other
but
guys
you
that are
can't
there
say
every
that he
day.
doesn't deserve it because this dude
Hmm.
is that freak of an athlete.
But it's
Because
personal taste. It's personal taste.
he
That's my opinion.
I know, but you can't hold it against him because this
Oh,
dude
yes, I fucking can. That's my
he
opinion.
went from college wrestling to being a
Mhm.
fucking monster in WWE in his second year?
Yeah. But that's
And then
also a part of the
he
fact that
was
they
like,
pushed him. They presented him in such a way to make him a monster. Remember Rex
I mean, you
Mason?
can't present a monster without being a monster to begin with.
Do you remember Rex Mason?
No.
Exactly. Dude was built perfectly like Brock Lesnar, but they presented
I'm
him
not
wrong.
saying built. Brock Lesnar, yes, there are a bunch of dudes that are built physically like him. Great Khali was an amazing specimen of physical builtness. But Brock Lesnar was a freak athlete who was doing shit that no one else could do. And not only that, he was like, I'm out of wrestling. You know what? I'm going to go try the NFL. And then he went and tried the NFL and barely didn't make it. They wanted him to go to Europe to go continue to learn how to play football. And then they were going to offer him a contract. You know why he didn't do it? He didn't want to travel. So he's like, you know what? I'm going to go do UFC. And then he fucking won the title there too.
Good
And
for
he won
him.
the title. He beat Randy Couture and he lasted against Shane fucking Carwin, who, if there's anybody on this planet that I think could kick the fuck out of Brock Lesnar, it's him. That
Good
dude's
for him.
hands were fucking huge.
Good for Lesnar. I'm not saying that he's not an athletic specimen. I'm just saying I don't like him because he wasn't always around. I don't like part-timers. I just don't.
I kind of
And,
blame WWE on that one though, because when he was around, he was used and abused, and then he got tired of it. He didn't stick around because I mean, I mean, props to him. He realized like these dudes are just gonna fucking use me up and drop me.
you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Like I said, it's nothing personal against Lesnar as a
Like
person.
I think for a guy like Lesnar,
Mhm.
if he didn't do what he did, they wouldn't have treated Cena or Batista with as much respect as they did because they lost a huge fucking star in Brock Lesnar
Yeah.
that left a gaping hole in WWE for
Yeah.
like a year.
You're not wrong, man. You're not wrong.
Like
I'm not.
I do think like they learned from that. Like, oh fuck, like we lost Lesnar. And it wasn't just like some fucking washout that nobody gives a fuck about. I mean, it was
Yeah.
Brock fucking Lesnar.
But it's like the promo that Edge cut on Cena, which I think
Which
obviously
one?
yeah, it's scripted. The one where he says Lesnar never wanted this. You and me grew up wanting this.
Oh.
Like Lesnar is only here so long as they can line his
Cena wasn't a
pockets.
wrestling fan.
There's pictures of him when he was a kid. His dad was part of a wrestling promotion and a
Was he?
promoter.
Oh.
Yeah, growing
I don't
up.
ever remember Cena ever saying he was a wrestling fan. Edge, I mean, yeah, I know Edge is a wrestling fan.
Yeah. But no, but when but and the Edge even says when Lesnar left, you and me were here to carry the load. We ran this company for years after he left because they needed you and me.
I mean, it was mostly Cena. Edge didn't really run the company until like fucking 8 years
Six.
after Lesnar left.
Lesnar left in what, 2003?
Or
Or Edge wins the title in '06. I would say no, I would credit
Edge
Edge.
wasn't really running the company by that
He
point.
was
At
a
first, they were
big
still testing the waters to see if like they're gonna actually give this guy a run.
he was a big deal though. He did have the biggest rating spike in like
I would
15
say
months.
it wasn't until '07 where he got the belt off of Taker that's when they were really serious about him being
Mhm.
a guy.
We could
Because
talk about
'06, he was
yeah.
still being jobbed out to Cena. Granted, he did have wins in there, but
But like Cena's the face of the company.
yeah.
You can
And
run the
then
company, but not
and,
necessarily the
and
face.
then like the other reason I say that is because at WrestleMania 23, he gets fucking put through a ladder, and then that ends his WrestleMania.
And walks off. Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Mhm.
that's why it doesn't scream that Edge was a guy in at that point in time. I think he started becoming a guy when they took the strap off of Taker and put it on Edge. Granted, Taker was injured, but
Mhm.
still,
He trusted him with it, and he look at what he did
yeah,
with SmackDown.
yeah. So that's
And
why I think it wasn't until like '07 that Edge became a guy.
mhm.
But I don't know. We got really off topic with the Endeavor thing.
Yeah. Well,
Do
what do you want
do
to talk
I
about next week?
think do I think Endeavor buying WWE is a bad thing? No.
Mhm.
Do I think it leaves the future with a lot of uncertainty? Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
Like I don't think like with Vince running the show, you knew it was just going to be straight wrestling
Yeah.
or sorry, sports entertainment. But with Endeavor running the show, I mean, and it's also like how much say they have
Mhm.
in
They own
shit.
51%.
Oh, I know that, but like if they're like, you look, we don't know jack shit about wrestling. You all are running it. If we see like it's working good, then we're gonna keep it that way. But
Mhm.
like if it's not working good, that's when we're gonna have to, stick our noses in it.
Well, like you can see Endeavor's kind of creeping in, even by like the sponsorship wrestling matches. That was part of that deal. Like, remember how the Mountain Dew blackout match?
Was Endeavor did Endeavor already buy WWE by that time?
The proposal was already on the table. It just took months for everything to get approved.
I just thought that was a sponsorship from Mountain Dew. I mean,
No, well, because they've never done that before, but now that they were kind of like that was one of the things that Nick Khan kind of had to deal with as far as like brand integration.
uh,
And here we have the Cocoa Puffs tag team title match. for the main event of WrestleMania,
I mean, it's
guys.
everywhere, dude. It's in college football. Every fucking bowl game in college football is named after some company. We
No,
had
but
the Chick-fil-A fucking Tostito Bowl.
I don't mind
Is it
events being
stupid?
sponsored.
Yes.
I
But
don't
do you
mind
want to
events being
see
sponsored.
do you want to see the perfect like what sports is coming to? Watch the beginning of the movie Basketball, the one by the guy by Trey Parker and Matt Stone.
Yeah, I
Uh
remember. I've seen it with you.
watch the beginning. That is where sports is heading.
God,
And it's you know what's crazy? On that movie was made like in the 90s and it's
yeah.
still extremely fucking relevant today.
I think it's on Netflix. I might as well watch it.
I love that movie. It's hilarious. I'm not a little bitch. Yeah, but you are a piece of shit.
God, you guys keep making fun of me like 5 or 6 more times. I'm ready to get considered.
I'm out of here.
Oh, all
You're a piece
right,
of shit.
Bernie, do the fucking outro.
Thank
Do
you
we have
for
an
joining
outro?
us. Huh?
Do we even have an outro?
I don't know. Let's try to figure out. Thank you for joining us for the 11 count, where we talk wrestling and go extremely off topic. We try to put out a podcast every couple of weeks, so stay tuned for more. Next week, we might actually do the Montreal Screwjob, where I think Brett screwed Brett.
Where I think Vince was an nomadic asshole. We'll talk about that next week. Bye, everyone.